Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Selected Series Podcast with our special guest, the one and only Pete from Flat Black. Welcome, man.
Yo, what's good, man? Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you, man. By the way, my name is Luis, host of Selected Series, and my other host.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is David. For those that are listening and think that this is like, whoa, way too far-fetched, you can do it. We're doing it. We want to inspire others to get into this. Even if it's just listening to podcasts, you have to try it. To connect with people and to bring positivity is super cool. And so if you guys want to, really get involved in this, we're going to be pushing and showing people how to do things. So if you guys want to, stay tuned, and we're going to either push, our setups, how we we set up and how quick it takes or how long it takes and how we bullshit. But, other than that,
Yeah, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just dove into a wave and we're kind of just getting swirled in.
Yeah.
And figuring it out day by day. So it's cool. It's fun. Gets our asses out of the house, and we have a vision for it. So I feel like our team is big is big, and with the creativity. And I think
we're very blessed to have people like Pete to let us work with.
Yeah.
And give us inspiration and also open his doors for us. We're in his future studio /
Yep.
all the store, everything. It's gonna be gallery. It's gonna be freaking amazing. But I mean, I don't want to ruin it for everybody. Just let him speak on it.
That's right. We're seeing the roots, the guts of this place, and
we're all starting somewhere, right?
That's right. And we're all seeing the same kind of vision for it, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and it's all levels of speed. At first, when me and you were doing this, and we were trying to figure out how to start it, your speed is completely different than mine. And your coast, like the way you put it on cruise control at times, because you're letting time come by and things to fall into place, was a way that I never envisioned doing things. I was always just to revert back to what Pete said, like a bird box, like that movie Bird Box,
Yeah.
where you put and you just dive in, bro. And so I was always like that, and I was running to problems or mistakes, and just the finesse you have to see a vision and see when your pockets to take action. And that's why I decided to do this with you, because the way you get things done, and I don't know if it comes from being very patient, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, it is patience. It's also like I have a lot of creativity that's flowing and flowing and flowing, and sometimes that's what keeps me from pulling the trigger on some things, because the ideas are just there, and I can never just stick to one idea to pursue. But I think putting our creativity together, I think we're coming up with a formula to kind of keep it patient, but kind of pull the trigger on a project and just go.
And solutions,
And solutions, yeah.
I think the two voices that are being I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I was telling him things like when you're having a relationship, things can't just be a one-way street. It has to be I listen to you, you listen to me, you direct, and I follow, and vice versa. And that's really cool, because you have your strengths and I have my strengths. And whenever somebody's up to take responsibility for something, you step up. If it's your turn, if it's mine, I definitely will, put my abilities or skills to the test, because if nobody does it, if I don't do it, it's whatever it is that needs to be done, it's never gonna get done, and we'll get stagnant. And these last few weeks have been just chucking away.
Move after move, and the more we network with other people, the more that's going to be happening.
Exactly.
So we're here Sunday afternoon inside of Flat Black Studios, and he just had an event today. So we're going to start with you telling us about what went down today, your event, and I want you to explain all the other events that you have tied in with Westfield.
Yeah, sure. So today, Sunday, was our family paint camp, which consists of us opening the doors to different young artists, mostly, either teenagers or younger, and they are able to basically come in, utilize one of our 4 stations that we have set up, and they'll come in and just get their paint on. And we have a team of people here that kind of guide them through it, basically, And it's just kind of giving back to the community, and in the sense where we're just trying to open up minds and plant seeds in these younger kids that are essentially going to be our future. So
That's cool.
We want to get them started early.
What do you do with the artwork after?
So they basically take it home. They're able to purchase. So when they pay, it's $5, and with that you get all the supplies that you need, and then you'll get like a canvas, which you're able to paint on and then take it home, basically.
I saw they were painting on a wall. What do you guys do with that after?
Yeah, so the stand-up wall is it's just one of the stations where they're able to kind of get the feeling of being in front of a wall and kind of just painting.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have someone that stands there. One of our boys, my boy Apes. He'll stand there and he'll kind of guide them as well through that process. Yeah. And just kind of teach you how to spray, or kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how the caps work, and whether you should be, or how far you should be to the wall while you're spraying, stuff like that.
Cool. Tell me about that big ass spray can outside of Stuffed Pizza. How'd that come about?
So that spray can was built by my boy Aaron Hansen for our street event this last year in 2018. So yeah, that was placed upstairs in the parking lot where we host the street event, and the mall, Westfield, basically said, we want to incorporate this into the inside of the mall, and they grabbed it and put it inside the mall.
That's a big ass spray can.
Yeah, it's different for sure, man. It's every time I walk by there, I'm just I'm in disbelief. I can't even believe that they would even want to do that first, and or that they would even believe in this enough to do that, and just the fact that it's there. I've never seen nothing like it, man. It's crazy.
Do you have any? How can I say it? Because I see that there's writing on the side of the can. Do you have do you plug your Instagram on there? Any social media on there?
I don't even know what the writing is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see like a hashtag there or something.
Oh, that might be connected to Aaron himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe Aaron and then our shop, I would imagine.
No, what I'm saying is I can see you doing like a little hashtag on it.
Oh no, Aaron has a plaque that's on the wall right next to it. That basically tells you what he used to make it. It kind of gives you a little bio. So Aaron Hansen basically gets the credit that he deserves. Obviously, he's the one that built it, and it's all against the wall. And
he should have a hashtag on it that says, or some kind of instruction to have people take a picture in front of it and tag that hashtag.
A certain hashtag.
Yeah,
that's actually not a bad idea.
Get people to take pictures with it.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Because it's huge.
Right on.
Big ass spray can.
Yeah.
And I think you posted on social media that more recognition.
Yeah,
people come to the mall just to take a picture with that.
I've gotten quite a few people that just tag us in general, like the shop, or they'll go look at Aaron's plaque and then they'll just tag him because his Instagram is on there. But yeah, I think that would be cool to have something for that.
Come take a picture with the spray can for a chance to win a bundle pack of cans and markers or something like that. You know what I mean? And that gets the can all over social media.
Yeah, I dig it.
I like how you think, man.
Dude, I walked into the paint camp today and my ideas have just been flowing. You're around all this creativity. That's what you think about.
It serves its purpose.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I just started using hashtags. I was
It's 2019, 4 year late.
I was 18 months sober off of any social media,
Oh,
and so
shit.
going back into it,
Wow.
I was looking at it with a different perspective instead of hating on social media because of how people act, and sometimes they're super superficial, and you can tell like
Hell yeah.
what their whole objective is. So that I was like, 18 months. I don't know what happened, but I just got it back. I was talking to my wife, and she's like, "Well, dude, every time I try to tell you something, you don't know what I'm talking about."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Wait, what does that even mean?" So the only thing I use is that Instagram, and so now I'm way more in touch with everybody that has the same visions as I do, and so I don't know.
Yeah, Instagram for us, in particular for the shop, has been a big asset. I mean, we've utilized Instagram to, I mean, maybe not its highest potential, but it's definitely brought us a lot of attention as far as like people outside of the desert. That's basically how the people outside of the desert connect to us.
Okay, so you're my brother, so I know your upbringing. Obviously, I lived through it firsthand. But tell the listener where you grew up. Where you from?
So I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, until the age of 26. That's when I moved here to the desert.
Cool.
But I was out there pretty much, all my young age, my teenage years. That's where I lived and experienced most of everything.
Yeah, you grew up. You grew up in the '90s. So tell me, what influenced you into the graph scene?
The graffiti scene for me, I started seeing graffiti in the 80s when I was young. But then, obviously, when I was able to actually go out and do it, it mostly got brought on by just people around me that I saw doing it around my neighborhood. Um, and then
What part of LA were you living at during this?
Oh fuck. I don't even think I was in LA. I was in Carson in the Harbor area.
Okay.
When I first got introduced to graffiti, and a bunch of homies. And actually, I went to school in Westchester. I'm sorry, I went to Westchester, which is kind of out by LAX, and because I couldn't go to any schools around my area, because I had got kicked out of all of them. But I went to school out there, and yeah, that's where I started meeting fools, and they had streaks and shit and markers, and I've always known about graffiti, but I was mostly into like the gang culture and shit. So when I seen this, I thought it was kind of dope, So they handed me a streak, and I caught my first tag, and I was like fucking hooked. Like it was on the RTD bus, I remember, and man, I was hooked.
What does streak mean for those those?
Oh,
that
for
don't-
sure. It's a solid paint marker. A streak is basically, yeah, like a solid paint marker that goes on any surface. It's almost like think of it like a crayon, but a solid paint, right? So
Gotcha.
it marks on all surfaces. Yeah, and that was basically my first tool. A Sakura mean streak, or I'm sorry, Sakura solid marker.
So you weren't even using like a spray can right off the bat.
Yeah, I had to use a spray can, but I wasn't writing. Well, I guess I was writing graffiti, but I was writing a gang.
Okay.
It wasn't like a crew or nothing,
Right.
Or maybe like doing some dumb shit, like writing "fuck you" or
Yeah.
"fuck the cops" or some stupid ass shit like
Yeah,
that.
a lot of the gang graffiti that I see around here is all just, there's no art behind it really. Not much color. It's just
But
kind of writing on the wall.
Is that to mark territory?
Yeah, I don't even. Well, okay, so I've met a lot of homies that have dope skills. Even homies that are from a hood that were probably even ex writers at one point that put a lot of effort into their gang graffiti. Even
Okay.
when they're putting on the set, when you're putting up the set. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be about. It's not necessarily about style or how dope it looks. I mean, you're basically marking
Yeah.
your territory in a sense, and that's really what it comes down to. But then, if you want to get crafty or cool with it, you can start doing dope shit and big letters, block letters, and shit like that.
One of my favorite gangster movies is 187.
Yeah.
You guys seen that?
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes is when he's catching a spot and they like three of them roll up and they're like, what are you doing? You're riding over my shit. And and then he gets all scared and he tries to run off. They shoot him in the leg.
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
So that was a day in the life.
Well, that was a fucking movie, but it's very similar.
Would you be nervous about? Like, were you ever riding alone?
Yeah.
And were
when I
you
first
nervous
started all the
about
time. Yeah, fuck yeah.
people rolling up?
Oh, fuck yeah. In LA, fuck yes, dude. Like in LA, when in the 90s, it was like a gang graffiti. We were tag bangers is what we called it, or whatever. The media might have started that, but we weren't. To me, especially, I was mostly about just getting down with fools, starting problems, doing stupid shit. I didn't really take graffiti itself serious until later because, I was just tired of fucking always watching my back and shit. So, but, yeah, the gang culture mixed in with graffiti was a big deal. That's how we got down in the 90s. As far as where I'm from, I don't know about anywhere else, but definitely where I was from, all the people around me were banging their crews, And then I was still from a neighborhood, so I was banging that too. I was just banging.
I was fortunate to talk to you previously about growing up, and you were talking about going back home as if you consider LA still your home. Is that true?
Yeah. I was born and raised there. That's where I learned everything. I will say that I learned a lot. I learned a lot here in the desert because it kind of shaped me here. But I mean, LA is definitely, man. That's my home. That's forever, and I go out there whenever I can, But not as much as I want to lately, just because I've been hella busy. But that's forever, man. That's where I'm from.
What city? Or what county? Just LA County?
Oh, it's LA
All
County,
of LA?
bro. Mostly like on the west side of LA, man. Is where it was my stomping ground, basically.
You mentioned you went to Westchester High, and that's a high school known for a lot of famous basketball players. That's how I know it. A lot of famous basketball players came out of that.
I was selling weed to those guys.
Yeah. Was there that kind of movement when you were at that high school too? Like, were you guys always been known? The Westchester Comets always been known for.
I didn't even know they were comets. Fuck.
That's how
honestly,
much you paid
dude,
attention at school.
I didn't.
The Westchester Comets.
I didn't know nothing about sports, bro.
Yeah, that
I was
school's
just there.
always
I was just there running amok, selling drugs and shit. Fucking.
Yeah, we were moving in and out of Carson area, Westchester, Hawthorne, Gardena.
Yeah, so I went there to Westchester, and then I went to Gardena, got kicked out. I went back to Westchester, got kicked out of Westchester. I went to Locke for like a day in South Central. That didn't work out. I went to
one day. Damn, what'd you do?
Yeah, fighting off the bat, homie. As soon as I stepped foot in that bitch, right outside of registration where you register, I was fucking already scrapping.
Is that because somebody looked at you funny or something?
It was just that's it. It was just like that's it. Yeah, really, that's what it comes down to, man.
When you guys moved around, is that because of like your guys' parents' work, or just because you guys were looking for a different neighborhood?
So early in the years, my parents, man, let me try to remember, man, because I can't even remember before. Oh, we lived, in Lenox for a lot of years, right? In that area, Lenox, Inglewood. And then we went to Carson, and that's when I was already a teenager. So I spent a lot of my time there. But
yeah, a lot of my childhood was Carson.
Yeah.
After that, we didn't move that much. We were going to, like, he was going to high school now. I
would have
going
to go to different
elementary.
high schools because I got kicked out of my local high schools and I couldn't go there. So what my mom did was she had friends that lived in different areas, so she had to use their address. But then I kept getting kicked out of those. At one point, I got kicked out of the whole LA Unified School District. So we were just kind of like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" You know.
And our parents, they didn't work in the city that we were living in.
Never.
They worked
Far.
farther, right? So
Yeah.
between where my parents worked and between where our parents had friends
Wow.
was kind of based off of
Yeah.
where he would go to school. I went to school by where my parents worked. It wasn't
Damn.
close to where we lived,
Yeah.
so I wasn't going to the same school as my neighbors. I was going to schools
yeah.
with
Big time.
kids from
All right,
farther
guys,
away.
I'll see you later. Not even going to the same school.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah,
And
or
we
I'd
would
get
just
home.
meet up. Yeah, after
Yeah,
school.
I get home after school and we would hang out, but we weren't going to the same school. So
That's kind of cool because you have friends
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's how I met a bunch of fools, and I was getting around. So being a graffiti writer fucking really worked out for me because I was everywhere. Yeah, and then that's how I ended up in Hawthorne High, too, was the same way. My parents, well, once I got kicked out of the Unified School District, I couldn't even go to school anywhere in that district, so I had to go to Hawthorne. That was the closest place that my mom could find someone that lived by.
Is that like a white school? Because it sounds.
Fuck no.
No, Hawthorne, like a.
Maybe at one point, I think the Beatles, the Beach Boys went there.
See,
at
it's
one
like
point.
a Disney movie type of name.
Well, Compton was all suburban white neighborhood. It all started off as a white suburban neighborhood that eventually just it got taken over. It got
Hawthorne.
low income housing, all
Hawthorne was
that
crazy.
programs like that brought in
Yeah.
a different class of folks. So
Yeah. Nah, Hawthorne was cool, man. Hawthorne, it was crazy. It was mostly Mexicans and blacks. I don't remember. Oh, and Tongans. I don't remember.
what's
seeing-
that?
Tongans? Tongans are like Samoans, like kind of like islanders. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we saw most of. Yeah, and that's how I ended up in Hawthorne High. And then that's where I was supposed to have graduated from, but I didn't graduate because.
So after all that craziness, you didn't finish?
Nah, dude. Nope. I ended up getting a girl pregnant, and she dropped out.
What a story, man.
Oh, dude, I hear this shit all the time. I'm sure this happens all the time, man. But yeah, I dropped out. Shit, man. Like probably like 3 weeks before graduate. I wasn't gonna graduate anyways, cause I was just fuck. I didn't even want to graduate. I didn't care, I just wanted to hustle forever. I didn't really care for school. But once she got pregnant, she dropped out, and then I just started working. I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing, get a job, do a 9-to-5 type of thing. And I was a grown-ass man by the time I was 18, dude. By the time I was 19, 20, I was already almost on my second kid.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to grow up real fast, And, yeah, I was just hustling, man, trying to get by and then trying to do the 9-to-5 thing.
Shout out my nieces and nephew, man. Stay in school.
Yep. Straight up.
They're good kids.
Well,
man.
shit, one of them already graduated.
Yeah. So someone's
Or
already
she's
on the
about
right
to,
path. She's
yeah.
already on the right path. So
Yeah, shit. Yep.
But they have a good role model. They have a great role model.
You know what? I'm blessed, man. Yeah, you're right. I'm blessed that it's like that. Because at one point, I didn't know that it was going to be like that.
like we all love a success story, but you gotta love a story where a person hits rock bottom and gets their shit together again
Yeah.
and comes back from that.
Absolutely, man.
Have you guys seen the movie Mid-90s?
Yeah, with the skater homie.
Yeah, seen it?
Yeah.
Directed by Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
No, I wish I saw it, but I never got to it.
It's an indie film. Check it out. You can still watch it. It's pretty good. And there's a scene where his name is Stevie.
Yep.
He walks into his brother's room. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
He walks into his brother's room. Dude, that's like that scene like kind of summed up my childhood because
Wait, can you elaborate on that? A
I'll
little?
elaborate on the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stevie, his brother's walking out the door and he's like, "Don't go in my room." He leaves, and then he leaves. First thing he does, Stevie runs to the room and he walks in, and then he's kind of just like looking around, and the camera pans out into the room, and the hip hop music just starts playing, and his brother has like hip hop posters on the wall, CDs, tapes. He's got like weights, and he's got all this fresh gear in the closet, Jordans, all this stuff. And I watched that scene, and it kind of just took me back into the same thing. When he wouldn't be home, I'd go into his room,
Oh, what?
and I'd listen to, I'd like go open the CDs up, read the little books, play them,
Shit.
go in his closet and like look at all the clothes, the fresh gear, like the Tommy, the Polo, and the Jordans, and he would have like just cool shit, like what I thought was cool, right? Posters. He'd have like glow in the dark posters and
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
and like all this cool stuff. And like as a kid, as a younger brother, you like I don't know, you kind of just bask in that, and you're like, man, this shit is cool, kind of thing. And so you gotta check that scene out.
That's awesome.
It's
bro.
pretty vivid, yeah. Like the way they
it-
summed it
is
up.
it in is a scene like in a very like the neighborhoods you picture?
They're in L.A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
the
see,
movie's based out
okay.
of L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
this little
So
kid,
then
he's
it's
a
like
skater.
it's like that's those summer nights with the window down
Yep.
or with the window up, and the dude's running off to get into a car or like
Yeah.
do something, and
Exactly.
you're like sneaking into his room. That's,
Yeah, you can tell he does that all the time because as soon as his brother left, he ran in there. And I think he even like puts on like one of his brother's like basketball jerseys, and he's got the big headphones on, and he's listening to music, just vibing out in his brother's room, like because it's cooler than his room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds cool. My cousin used to be like that. He used to have shout out to Rudy. Bulls gear. He was a big Michael Jordan fan. One time I spilled a fruit punch on his brand new that red and black jersey that they had.
Okay.
He,
Oh, no, the alternate.
He tore a new one into me because he told me don't go into my room. He used
Yeah.
to have like the Sega Genesis and
Yeah.
the Nintendo and he had every
The
console.
cool shit,
Yeah,
the magazines, and
he had Wu-Tang posters on
Yeah.
the wall and
that's legit. Yeah, check out that movie when you get a chance.
what's it called again?
Mid '90s.
Mid-90s. Jonah Hill directed that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
He's from our time, so a lot of the stuff that he's making, I feel like our age group, not even just specifically our age group, but we can relate to a lot of the things that he brings up.
But he's very like he's played a serious role. He's played that baseball.
The funny fat kid.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor, man.
He was in what's that? Wolf of Wall Street. Too.
There you go. That's the one I was trying to reference back.
So, Pete, tell us who's your influence in the graph world, like either now or when you were growing up. Who was one of your favorites?
Like as far as influences,
Yeah.
I'd say probably from my younger years, there was a couple cats that kind of showed me the way in a sense. There was this cat, writes Des 49, Design 49 from FUS. He kind of like, kind of put me on, showed me the ropes, like he would be like, he would tell me like, yo, come over here, and I would walk with him, and then he'd just be catching tags. He'd tell me to watch his back, and then he'd be like, all right, go. And then he'd like watch my back. And this is all in the early days, so that was like pretty fucking dope to me, I was super influenced by that. And then the dude was just a savage, like I would see him, we'd be in a car, with some of the other homies, and I would see him like writing down spots, like he would write down intersections of spots that he wanted to come back to. And I was just kind of like, like just kept that in my head, like, fuck, this fool's really gonna come back and hit those spots. Like that's like commitment,
Yeah.
And so he's definitely one of those dudes. A lot of the dudes from my old crew out in the Wilmington area, the Harbor area, from TSA, those dudes kind of like, or really showed me the ropes as well, and like showed me what time it was.
Do you still keep in contact with any of them?
Nobody, bro. Nah, I don't know.
What do you think they're
Most
up
of the
to
fools are
nowadays?
Probably in jail,
Yeah.
dead or something. Yeah.
You didn't really see any future in.
Um,
I mean, because
well, I don't know.
you were doing
They
the
probably
same.
thought the same about me, and here I am.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they're fucking doing something cool. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's been so long. I lost touch with those cats because after a while, like because I was going to different high schools and shit, like I started linking up with other cats, and then like kicking it with fools that I saw on the daily, and then at one point I started my own crew and then just kind of did my own thing, and then that was it. And then they kind of did their thing, went to jail. Um, you know,
No,
couple-
there's no bad blood when you
fuck
go.
no. If I
Right.
even remember them when I see them, if I could even recognize them, definitely not.
Cool.
Not at all. No, yeah,
Cool.
no, for sure.
So, do you feel like that's where most of your creativity came from, writing on the wall?
Um, Not necessarily, man, because I wasn't writing to be creative. You know, like I was writing to just put my name on shit.
Okay.
That whole that whole thing probably, if anything, kind of sparked. Excuse me. Kind of sparked the thing inside of me where it was like, it it drove me to be more committed about stuff. Like I found the passion and I ran with it and I did it and I did it and I did it and I did it and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Something that I could continue doing. And then and that led me, like I mentioned a little bit ago, that led me to start like my own crew. And I've always been more of like a leader type. So like when I started my own crew of, selected few, that is what caused me to be more on the leadership and then like be confident about myself as well. Even now, like this started from that, because I used to run my crew like on some legit shit, like we had meetings where it was like very, like we had to be punctual. Like I was very strict about all that shit, but it led us to be a pretty dominant crew. And then, that's kind of where it started. Basically, is what I'm saying.
So tell us about when you touched down in the desert. What year was that?
I touched down in the desert in 2006. I want to say I think it was late 2005 or 2006. Yeah, and that's pretty much when I got here.
Tell us about creatively what first project. What's the first project you started on out here?
Well, shit, man. I was just really, when I got here, I was just trying to get my shit together. I didn't come here to do anything. I just came here to chill,
Right.
and like really just trying to start over. So it took me a while before I did anything, but not really, like even then, like I wasn't here that long before I started the clothing brand. So, I was writing graffiti still. I had a job, and then I got popped. I got snitched on. And when that happened, then I started the clothing company, which wasn't even like that long after me getting here. Probably like 2 years. It wasn't even that long.
What,
You know.
what sparked starting a clothing brand?
Just my love for graffiti. It was a graffiti clothing brand,
Okay.
you know.
What was it called?
It was called Affiliated.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Affiliated clothing.
And was that just straight from the trunk? Because at the time, it wasn't really accessible to sell.
Yeah.
Like for just somebody starting, it wasn't accessible to sell online. So was that just
Right.
from the trunk, or were
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
at locations?
Oh no, dude! It literally. So this was around the same era that the whole streetwear thing just started blowing up big.
Oh man, good
Yeah,
times.
that Mark Echo. And,
No, way past that. I'm talking about like Diamond. I'm talking about
oh,
Hundreds.
okay.
yeah,
Just trying to find a
hundreds.
point of
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was trying
So-
to think Accomplice.
Yeah,
I think
all
of some
that
more.
shit. Even This Is It,
Obey.
like Obey, all that shit was like big, and it was growing into like this massive market. So, yeah, I didn't really necessarily even have a website. I didn't start with a website, at least. I started just out the trunk, homies, friends. Then I started promoting it. I think I started promoting it on fucking MySpace. And then I
Yeah.
had like a badass MySpace of some fool that I knew how to do all that shit. So I had like this dope ass fucking MySpace page, and then like he hooked it all up. And then that's how I met people. And then I would ship it, and they would pay me. I don't even remember how they would pay me, but I was making good money off that. It was pretty fucking legit, man. Yeah, affiliated. That was the first thing that I did. I eventually actually started selling it at the swap meet
Which one?
in Indio.
Okay.
That's where and as a matter of fact, that's where I started. So I had my affiliated booth in the front, and behind me behind that booth was another booth or like a table with craft supplies. So that was like more low key, I didn't really want too many people to know that. But then I started doing that.
That black market.
Yeah. Yep. And
Come, let me show you in the back.
yeah,
Real quick.
yeah. And once a dude knew that I was there, like he would just come back knowing that I was already there, and he would go tell all his homies, and then so on and so forth, and that's how that started.
But that product you weren't able to push. Like, would the people at the fairgrounds would they frown upon it? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
It's not a product you could sell there. Right?
I wasn't open to them about it.
Okay.
Basically, as far as they knew, I was just selling T-shirts, which we were still doing good off of. But yeah, I wasn't like, hey, I'm here to sell graffiti supplies.
Did you feel like they wouldn't have accepted you selling?
It would just be stupid to even approach them like that. Like, at least back then, that was my mentality.
Why? It's because you thought they wouldn't have approved of
graffiti. Yeah, like they would have took one look at it and been like, nah. I mean, they're already looking at me like, what? This fool looks kind of suspect and shit. But they let it ride or whatever, and then. Yeah, and then I did my graffiti shit in the background, so it was like no biggie. People just went back there and bought it, which eventually led to me getting arrested for it because some fucking kid snitched, and the cops were already kind of investigating me for graffiti, and they weren't able to put two and two together with my name, but they were definitely able to grab me on the graffiti supplies. So they I don't know, whatever it was, I don't even remember the charges for that, but yeah, that's what it led to. Basically, that was the beginning of Flat Black.
After that, did you continue, or you were banned from selling there?
No, I went back, and I think I just stopped selling graffiti supplies, and it was just clothing. And then I probably went back maybe a couple more times, and then that's when I decided to take it a little bit more serious. You know what? I actually did. I started a clothing a website. And I did start selling online. And then I reached out to a bunch of shops, which was like kind of like where I made more money. I started with consignment, and then I was able to sell people my product in different stores, different shops, like, different graph shops, skate shops, shit like that.
Can I ask you, let me see, for the people that are trying to do that kind of market, they want to get into graphic tees and just graphic design and push their product on the store. You've done this before, so what would be your advice for those that would want to do something like that?
Stand out. Stand out as much as you can, because the market is flooded with T-shirts and graphic designs. And
how would you approach a person that owns a shop? Like, let's say you walk in and you have a product. How would you want somebody to approach you? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, so it's the thing is, things were different back then. Like, and social media has changed all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gotcha.
Even through MySpace, I was able to do things, but not as much as like Instagram provides. So I personally would go into all these stores, take samples on the rack, with order forms, and like really, I presented myself like I was already owning like $1 million company, and that's how it has to be. Like I came off like I already knew what the fuck I was talking about, right? So
at this point you're 21, 22?
Nah, I was already out here. I was like 26, 27, 28, maybe.
Okay.
No, 26, 27. Yeah, I was already out here. But yeah, it's just about going out there and really pushing yourself, man. That's it. That's all it takes. Because a lot of people don't. So people that actually push themselves have a bigger advantage, and they don't even know it. There's a lot of people out here that doubt in themselves. And that leaves opportunity for people that are really with it to move forward, So, like, if you just have that, people will see that. People can genuinely see your commitment and really,
It's contagious, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a good impression on them.
Yeah, if they believe themselves, it gets you to believe in them as well.
Absolutely.
It's very good advice right there.
Yeah,
so those
definitely.
that are on the border of making a decision, just believe in yourself, and if you believe in what you're doing
dude,
is correct,
100%.
people will
for
see
sure.
that regardless. Especially how you're saying social media just provides a platform for those that don't have your reach because they live far away. They are
Yeah.
on your phone. They're on your lap immediately.
Man,
So it makes no sense not to be creative, not to put your content out.
definitely.
You're going to have an audience. Everybody has an audience.
There's literally people out here that are very questionable, and like weirdos that have, hundreds of thousands of followers and they get paid for that. You know what I'm saying? And they go out here, they do stupid shit, and it's like people make fun of them, but who's, you know what I mean? Who's really winning in that situation? So for someone that's really dedicated and you actually want to push yourself, if you can't do it, then something's fucking wrong. That you're in the wrong industry, especially with the advantages that we have nowadays. Like if you don't take advantage of this shit, you're doing something wrong and you don't belong having any business.
Yeah,
all.
we got the people have the platform to go out
big
and
time.
try anything. It's
Big
big.
time, yeah.
So just go out, give it a chance, and fail a couple times.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
cares? Just go out there and try. As long as you try to do it, even if you fail, try again. Do something else. It's the process and you doing it that's fun.
Yeah, I just text that today. You know, you can also look at it as if you like you. I reference this to basketball because Luis was a very big basketball fan, and so he's, let's say, in the gym a lot, and so if he can say, I missed a million times, but when it counted, I scored. You know, people are gonna remember your victories, and if you can play it off, no one's gonna remember your mistakes or your downfalls, or, because no one's there to see you struggle and succeed. They only see the fame and the lime and just the success. They don't see all the steps it took. Maybe you took a step forward and you took 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward. It's not a straight line. And so people have to have the whereabouts to move laterally, maybe an inch back to go 12 inches forward. It's very difficult when it comes to trying to find like a straight path to something. It hardly ever happens that way. And now with this whole network thing, if you don't have the ability to do it right, you just reach out to somebody that knows, or that knows somebody, or that knows somebody that knows somebody. So it's so like tangible. You can hold it. You can almost smell it and taste it if you really, really want to do something.
Definitely.
Yep, go out there and learn. Mess up, learn from it. You get to meet people. Just keep pushing. Just keep going. Pete, tell us what's a skill you're looking to learn by the end of the year?
I just want to be a better version of myself, man.
Okay.
Basically, I'm just, yeah, basically, or most definitely want to be a better business person, because there's still a lot to learn. There's so much to learn. But yeah, I would definitely say that more than anything is just being a better business person, more sharper. Yeah.
Cool. Are there any artists that you're hoping to work with from out here? Or from anywhere, really?
From back home. You ever bring anybody out here to check out your shows?
Yeah, I got homies that come out here all the time. But I can't really say one person in particular, really, man. I mean, I already work with everybody that that I think is cool, man. To be honest, like most of them are already from my crew,
Nice.
in LA. And shout out to all the homies from NBC and SPV. But yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I've been blessed because people actually reach out to us. I want to make it to where when people are out here, or at least passing through the Coachella Valley, and you are an artist or a graffiti writer, it's like, come through, man. You know what I mean? Like, we're here. You guys have a spot here. You're more than welcomed. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just really trying to link with everybody, man. There's really not one person. It's not in my best interest to be, like trying to just get one person. It's like, I want to get everybody out here, man. You know what I mean?
And have you come across, or have you worked with any artists that you've been watching grow since the beginning?
Um, Fuck, no, not really. I mean, no. I mean, there's a lot of artists that I look up to, or that I can say like, damn, that was dope that they came out. But I can't really necessarily say that there's one person that I've been like watching forever and then they're here. You know?
Oh, okay. I just picture like that kid walking in to Flat Black, buying his first set of streaks or cans and telling you, "Oh, watch out for me. I'm gonna be."
Oh man, like that happens to me all the time. I see that shit every day.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, these dudes, a lot of the dudes that come, I mean, and I could tell too, you know, like I could tell when the dude has heart, when the dude's really about this shit, you know, like as far as the whole graph culture, you know, like I could see right through these fools, you know. It's like some of these fools will come in the shop with their head, you know, or with their fucking chest pumped out, like, you know, they're trying to be hard and shit. And that's cool, whatever, you know, but the real motherfuckers are more low key. They'll come in, they'll get their shit, they'll show respect and then bounce. You know what I mean? And then I'll see them up. You know, but yeah, I could definitely tell, and it's dope to see because we're in the beginning stages of the next generation of this culture, and that doesn't even apply to graffiti in general. Like that applies to a lot of things. It's not just graffiti; it's everything. You know, my homegirl Janet, Cepeda, she's been coming to the shop for like a little while, and when she first started coming around, she was just a youngster. I mean, it was just only like a year ago. She's already young as shit. She's young now, you know, to me at least. But when she started coming around, she was more. She wasn't as I don't want to say experienced, but she wasn't maybe as secure in herself and her art as she is now. And I've seen the progression, so that's like really cool to see that and know that she's gonna be, you know, fucking somebody,
That's what's
and
up.
I could see right through that, you know, like I see that her being somebody for sure.
So how? Tell me how Flat Black is impacting the community with, because it's given a splash of culture for sure. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's become something way different for the desert. Now I didn't invent graffiti out here. I didn't invent graffiti
Right.
culture or art, street art. You know, it's just been around for a lot of years. You know, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a crew out here that has a big foot in the game. You know, as far as like from the beginning of graffiti and all that.
Yeah. So we're talking. Yeah. So I'm talking about Flat Black as a team.
Yeah, the flat black team in
Yeah.
general. Go ahead, ask me again. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm never
How
bad.
are you impact? How is the Flat Black team impacting the community?
The flat black team in general, I would say, shit, man. I think just through actually giving people an opportunity to do shit. I think this is what the desert needed. I think people are really taking well to the fact that we're out here really legitimately caring, you know, because it's like we're one of them, you know, and they're one of us.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not some dude that just, you know, got fed this shop and like, you know, didn't know nothing about what I'm preaching out here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've been there, I've been to jail for this shit. You know, I've learned my lesson and here I am and now we're trying to make something of this. You know. So I feel like that's how people have been impacted. I think they're able to see that it's not just some regular person or that it's not just someone that was like given this opportunity. Go ahead.
The way I see it, I think what Flat Black's done, the way I see it is, it's given a splash of just flavor, color, culture. Just like the Flat Black team
Yeah.
has just given like a splash of just like badass to the desert, to somewhere where I feel like was when I first moved out here, I feel like it was lacking that kind of flavor. The first thing you think about is old retired people living here, right?
Yeah.
Country clubs,
Country clubs, golfers. That's it. And I think
tennis, golf.
I think Flat Black team, Flat Black, and not just them, but our generation too is adding a nice splash of
You know
of
what though?
dopeness out here.
I will say that I have to give it up to all the OGs out here. People that have already been doing graffiti, that been putting art on the walls
Open the doors.
before me. Right? Like I didn't start that. That's kind of what I was trying to say. But yeah, now it's kind of like on a bigger platform, especially now that, I do a lot of things here with like Westfield, for example. We're essentially giving it's more of an audience that we have to work with as opposed to just being us, the graffiti writers or the artists themselves. It's everybody could see this. Everybody's like, either you're going to be with us or you're going to be against us, It's like everybody's around now to see it.
You're also giving a voice to those that are, you know, um, from different crews can look at you and say, "Oh man, like he's really opening doors for us to be safe." Go and buy some stuff that we need.
Yeah, and it's not even just like crews or graffiti crews, it's everybody, man. Like my doors are open to anybody that's really willing to take art serious, you know. And we kind of, I guess you could call it, mostly cater to like the urban art, people, like urban art supplies is what we call them. But yeah, it's anybody that just wants to, do the right thing, and it's not your average. And it started as a retail store, it's not your average art supply store. You come in and it's like cool and shit, There's graffiti that you could buy stuff for canvas, you could buy stuff for the walls, you could do a mural, there's so many different types of things in my shop.
Do you want to go into maybe explaining what you're going to be doing here at this new shop?
Yeah, what's next?
Okay, yeah, for sure. So for those of you that don't know, we're actually inside the new flat black shop, which will be open in June. By the time this comes out, it might already. Well, it probably won't even be open yet, huh?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hopefully, that's our goal to drop
sick.
this soon.
In a year from now, we'll come back and.
Oh yeah, I'm talking
this
before a year, but
I'm saying, I mean, a lot can happen.
we will come back in a year. We'll update for sure.
For sure. So, going back to the shop itself, man, it's basically our new shop here at Westfield. Westfield offered me a shop here, not for free, and I took it. I felt like there was a lot that I can do here, and basically where we're at now is one of the two artist studios that we will be renting for local artists to be able to come in and either do art or whatever type of art form, music, podcast, whatever they want to do. And then on the other side of the building here is our retail space, which will consist of like, a full gallery, a lounge area, obviously a bunch of paint, and just a lot of space to kind of come in and just get real artsy with it, man.
Catch a vibe.
Yup, straight up. And that's what it is. This is. I'm excited for this place, man, because this is what needed to happen for me to grow, and it took a lot for me. I sat long and hard and really thought about like, man, do I want to move to Westfield, and I thought to myself, fuck, am I like selling out, and I started thinking, man, that mentality is me, 15 years ago, I shouldn't even, why the fuck am I thinking like that? You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't want people to be like, oh, this motherfucker's going corporate and shit. And then I started thinking, well, why the fuck do I even care? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we are providing something bigger than us, man. And it's something bigger than me for sure. And I just fucking said, fuck it. Let's take that chance. Let's put Flat Black in a position where we can offer more of us to everybody as opposed to just,
that's awesome. You're thinking about your customers. You're thinking
absolutely,
about
man. This is
how it's affecting
fucking
people.
Great. Yeah, this is gonna be a great store, man. And it's not just a retail store anymore. We've grown, and it's more of, it's like a hub for us. You know what I mean? It's us. This is us. I see a lot of people out here trying to do shit where it's like, they try to, do stuff for artists and stuff, but it's not even legitimate, man. Like, a lot of these dudes are just chasing money. They see that there's interest in art, and that's where they're going because there's an interest in art, and so they try to do shit that's more urban. But it's like whatever. I mean, it doesn't bother me because I know my core customers are here, but it's just a trip to see that, and it's like, this is where you go, man. This is where I built this for all of us together. You
You're
know what I
putting
mean?
it's like you're putting a paintbrush in people's hands, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, have fun.
Everybody that comes through here built this. We're all in this. This is all
That's
us.
what's up.
Yeah, real shit, man.
That's what's up. Yeah, I walked in here, and you get the real guts view of the place. But man, I see so much potential for this place, and I'm excited for you working on it, and
Yeah, thank
bringing
you,
it to life the way I know you're gonna bring it to life. So
Hell yeah. I'm
that's what's
excited
up. We're sitting in one of the studios right now. We got no door, but we got the AC keeping us so cool, man. We got a restroom in here, so it's like you
Two
get the roots
restrooms.
of it. Yeah, you get two restrooms. You get the root view of it. But man, this thing's got what it needs to be a legit studio gallery retail spot for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Excited.
just add some elbow grease to it and just go to town. And
It needs 2 elbows.
yeah,
Yeah, everybody whoever sets up in these studios are going to be able to add a splash of how they want it to look like too. So that on its own is dope.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that. I'm hyped.
That's
I'm
all.
hyped to see what happens here. The people
what
that
comes
come
out
through.
of the rooms?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
You're gonna
because
have-
at my other shop, man, I've seen so much shit happen. Like we would have. So when I first opened, I decided to do a pop up in the side of the store. That it was basically an extra room, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna utilize the space for pop ups, and mostly everybody that has been in there, went off and did something cool,
That's
or at
what's
least,
up.
I mean, I would imagine learn something. Like we all kind of just did it together, and yeah, it's dope. It's a dope feeling, man, to see someone like grow too. It's like it's exciting and shit.
Yeah, of
I
course.
get excited by that, man. Like I am by no means a fucking hater. Like I love to see people winning, and having these studios is fucking cool to me because I know that good shit is gonna happen here.
It's gonna be nothing but creativity, man, and
Absolutely.
the flavor just soaking through the walls in this place. It's gonna be a hub for.
He also has a lot of wall
Everything.
space, and over there in the other main room where he's gonna have his retail area, there's room for artists to put a lot of good stuff up there.
Yep.
Big spaces for those artists that like to do big pieces.
Yeah. So when I first saw this place, one of the first things that caught my eye was the gallery space, which I was
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I was very adamant about having a bigger gallery space if I ever moved out of my shop on 111, because I wanted to showcase more art and have bigger art shows, because the art shows themselves is kind of what put us over, and like we really made a name for ourselves through that, because I think it was mostly because the community love, the people that would come, and it was real, everybody there was just like real and like vibed out, with each other. It was dope. You
And-
weren't uncomfortable like you would be like, on El Paseo or some shit, some like real high end gallery.
Right.
It was like, it was basically just us having a good time.
And that spot where you're looking to set up the gallery, it kind of already looks like it's built just for that. It's got the lights hanging down.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. And this,
Yeah.
what was this before?
So from what I know, this, I think the last thing that it was, I think it was being used as a security office. And then prior to that, at one point, it was a daycare. And then prior to that, I think I heard something about it being like a school or something. But
Oh, okay.
it's been used. It's old as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing is that it's not in the mall. It's not a store or a unit in the mall. It's attached, but it's detached.
Yeah.
Right. There's no
It's in the
entrance. It's in the back, so
Yeah, there's no
you can't
entrance to
get
the mall.
into it
Right.
from the
In or
mall
out,
into
yeah.
the mall.
Yeah,
Okay, that's pretty
Which
cool.
is what I wanted.
Nice.
I didn't want. I kind of wanted to be separate even then. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be too in. Like I definitely didn't want to be inside the mall. That was probably why it took so long to make a decision to work with Westfield and take up their offer on renting out one of their places. And then when they offered me this, or when they showed me this space in particular, I was hooked. Like,
Yeah, I see that
it was
right
man, it was,
away. You
yeah.
look in here
Because
and
dude, like okay, so for those that don't know, like I started in a warehouse, off Cook in Palm Desert, off Cook in like 42nd. It was kind of hidden. You couldn't even get there. Like the GPS wouldn't even tell you. Like it was just real low key, which is what I wanted. We were an underground culture shop. You know what I
right.
mean? Like I wasn't trying to be all out here like that. So coming from that to moving to 111 and then seeing this, it's like to me, for someone that started the way that I started and with my background, it was a dream come true, man. I looked at this place and I was inspired right off the bat, and I knew right off the bat, like, fuck, this is so much potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's only right because, we have the top deck of the parking structure over by Macy's here at the Westfield Shopping Center, which is basically our own open air gallery. It's like a spot where the homies come through and lay down some
That's
pieces
crazy.
and just paint. And like I'm right up the way from that. Plus we have the inside of the mall. So yeah, man, it's crazy how everything worked out, man. To be honest, like it's still like sometimes I don't really realize, I think, what's really happening. Like it hasn't really hit me too much. Because it's like it all happened kind of like so fast. You know what I mean?
And before Westfield showed you this place, did you already have plans of expanding
No,
and going out somewhere else?
nah, no, not at all.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna. Shit, I still had another year left on my lease. I had to break my lease at the 111
Oh, I
spot.
see.
Like nah, man. I was happy. I was happy where I was. There was nothing I was. I mean, I had thought about it. I basically just thinking about what I want to do next, not necessarily putting it into action.
Right.
It was just more like, okay, well, when I move, I want to see a bigger wall space for gallery, or I want to see a backyard area where we could paint outdoors and I could host my graffiti battles again, stuff like that. But yeah, I can't really say I was planning on moving out for sure.
Let me ask you, when is this gonna be opening? You said in June, but around what time? Beginnings, ends of June?
The beginning of June is what I'm shooting for, man. Hopefully, we're in the very, very early stages right now of construction here. I mean, we have a lot to do. We've literally took off all the tile, um, repainting. We're repainting the whole spot. Um, a lot, dude. Construction. We're putting up walls. We're taking down walls. We're installing toilets and a brand new bunch of stuff, man. You know.
Getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, basically, I mean, we're kind of starting from the bottom, which is actually even better, man, because we're basically building it into what we want. It's not like a normal store where you go in and just that's it. The layout is the layout. You know what I mean? And like here, it's like, okay, here's the space. Now you do whatever you need to do to make it the way you want to make it. And that's why I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it because we could build off this, you know?
That
We
makes
could,
all the work worth it, right? Because you're doing it the way
yeah,
you want it
absolutely.
to set. You
Yeah,
want it to be set up. So
it's what we want it to look like. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Let's
Definitely.
wrap it up with a few more questions. Just let's give the. Or why don't you go ahead and give the listener some advice
Yeah,
to that person
that will start a
that
business.
wants to start a business and he or she is close to doing it. It's just they've got their own roadblocks in their head, right?
Yeah. Um, First of all, that's just all in your head. When you put any kind of roadblocks or anything in your head that tells you not to do it, you're going against yourself, which is not ideal, man. Like that's already a no, you know. Um, so get that out of your head first of all. I think your best bet is to just move forward and understand that there will be times where you will fail. And I mean, just knowing that in itself is going to help you to realize, like, okay, I knew this was going to happen. Here it is. It's a roadblock, but I'm going to get through it. It's not a negative thing where you just know that you're going to fail from the beginning. Just go, push forward, keep going, keep going. When you run into something, deal with it, keep going until you get to where you want to get to, man. I mean, it's just as simple as that, you know. Um, and a lot of times it might not even be what you're trying to do. Like you could be trying to open up or just start a clothing line, and that might not even be it. You might learn what you need to learn from that to get to the next step, you know.
Yeah.
But definitely just soak everything in, as much knowledge as you can. Do your homework on everything that it is, research everything that you're trying to do, and just push, man, and just push. It's definitely very possible. Absolutely, especially nowadays.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you definitely can't pull that ignorance card. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, you have the ability to go out there and
Oh, for sure,
research, like you
man.
said, do your homework. You're gonna fall into a few, you know, building blocks, and you gotta put them together to make something else out of whatever it is you have. Like right here is cool, man. This is gutted, or it will be gutted, and you're gonna make it however you want.
Yeah, it took a lot of years to get here. And I'll be honest, man, like, I'm not even where I want to be to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
So your
the
story is
beginning.
relatable to the advice you're giving. People
Absolutely.
think this is a roadblock. This is definitely a roadblock you have right here, but it gives you the ability to overcome it. Like if those that are listening right now don't believe, come down here if you guys want to get your freaking hands dirty. This whole thing is like no joke. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, this is definitely the beginning of something way, way, way bigger than any of this, man. Like, it's definitely the beginning. I personally don't feel like I even made it close to where I want to get to. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even halfway there. Everything that I've done from the time that I started doing this is a learning curve. So I've learned everything that I needed to learn to move to the next step. And once I get there, then I learn more, and I move on and move forward. And that's that's what's keeping me going is everything that I've learned. I've been able to prevail, and it gives me confidence. And with that confidence, like I could use that to my advantage.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean,
That's
I'm
facts.
talking about just having meetings with people that I would never think I would even have a chance to sit down with and actually, kick knowledge to or just soak up their knowledge. I sit in meetings with people and I'm just like, man, this is a trip. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you guys talk like this? That's crazy. Huh?
shit, actually, yeah, man. Like, the way that I am is just the way that I am. I'm obviously not going to cuss and shit like that. Like, I'm not going to get, like, too crazy. But I'm, I just keep
You won't change for anybody.
Yeah, I'm just the way that I am,
Yeah.
But I have a lot to offer. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what kind of is attracting to these people. I would imagine, like I have a lot to offer, man. I'm valuable, and that's because I've soaked up mad game. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And like, the more valuable you become, the I don't want to say the easier it becomes, but it's like the more you're able to get a grip of things.
Well, it's like learning a new language. If you are able to communicate with your
Sure,
knowledge,
absolutely.
you have a better connection with that person.
Yeah, definitely. I highly agree with that. Yeah,
All
become
right.
valuable, man. Become valuable as fuck out here. You know.
So we just dropped some gems, man, for an hour plus, and I want to thank our listeners, and just stick. I, I invite you to stick with us in our journey
Yeah.
throughout this podcasting, and listen through. We'll have an update so you can get an update on Flat Black's journey as well.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely keep talking to Pete about this whole stuff, the whole process, just so that the listeners can also, stay tuned and see Pete's development and his growth and his outreach to the community and how it changes people's lives.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Word up.
Hell yeah.
Word
Well,
up.
thank you,
Yeah,
Pete.
yeah.
Thank
Yo,
you,
hold
Flat
on,
Black.
real quick, man. Let me
What's
just
up?
say what's up to
Plug.
yeah, big ups to my family. Big ups to everybody that holds us down for real. Like this shit would not be happening if it wasn't for the people that come through these doors and show us love, man. Like real shit. I mean that. From the
Facts.
bottom of my fucking heart, man. Like for real. So big ups to everybody that shows us love, and buys our shit and goes out there and gets artistic with it, man. Real shit.
Yeah, and stay tuned, man. Big things coming for Flat Black. And real quick, why don't you tell us, besides the graffiti paint camp, what other events you got popping?
Yeah, so at the Westfield Shopping Center right now, we have the, what am I looking at here? Oh, my bad. Oh, cheat notes.
Yeah.
So on the, I'm sorry, on a monthly basis, we do the family paint camp, which is basically a graffiti paint camp, and then we do the graffiti date night, which is mostly for like 21 and over, adults that come in. There's drinks available. Same thing with the paint camps, but just for adults. You come in, you paint. We show you some skills, get you going with a board, and then you just get your flex on some graffiti shit, man, and get your drink on. It's like a great way to get out with your girl or your man or whatever. And then street every year, November. Don't forget that.
Just to let the listeners know where we can find you. I know here at the mall on those nights, but social media.
Yeah, it's at flat_black_shop is where you can find the shop page. Basically.
Just so we're looking at just the Instagram, or
yeah, man, that's it.
that's awesome.
That's
I
it.
like that Instagram.
Yeah, boy.
All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'm your host, Luis.
And this is David coming to you from the Flat Black Studio. We are Selected Series. You guys have a nice day.
Peace.